Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you're new. Today we have more PlayStation news, rumors, and leaks to go over and cover today. So do me a favor before we dive into these topics. If you end up enjoying this video or finding it informative, be sure to leave it a like. Really helps the videos out more than you know. And if you are new here to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button as well. We're starting here talking about some Red Dead Redemption 2 information. Apparently, Red Dead 2 has gone on to sell over 50 million copies, but as Push Square's reporting here, we apparently still can't get a PS5 patch. They say publisher Take-Two has just posted its quarterly financials, and would you believe it, Red Dead Redemption 2 is still selling. The open world title is over 4 years old now, and while it doesn't quite compare to the frankly obscene sales numbers of Grand Theft Auto 5, it recently managed to break through a ridiculous 50 million copies sold. It goes without saying, but that's a figure most games could barely even dream of reaching. It's a number that puts Red Dead Redemption 2 up there amongst some of the best-selling video games of all time, but it's still not enough to warrant a PS5 update, apparently. Indeed, fans have been requesting a current-gen patch for ages, but here we are in 2023 and the PS4 title is still capped at 30 frames per second. It's a real shame when you consider the sheer popularity of the release. And so that's really why I wanted to cover this, because I mean, it's great to see Red Dead still selling so well. It's one of the best games ever made, in my opinion. I think a lot of people would agree with that. But it's really just kind of depressing, I think, at this point, to see that Rockstar is just completely ignoring this, franchise, apparently, at least for now, right? I mean, this is a game that I feel like absolutely should have gotten some kind of next gen patch or current gen patch, or at the very least, just re-release it for the current gen consoles. I mean, I know some people wouldn't be a fan of that decision, but still it would sell really well if they did that, and I think a lot of people would actually be happy. So let me know your thoughts on that. Moving to the next topic though, we are covering Long Fallen Dynasty. It says here from PlayStation Universe, Team Ninja has revealed that Long Fallen Dynasty will support 4K resolution at a silky smooth 60 FPS on PS5. What's more, if you buy the physical PS4 version of the game, you will be entitled to an upgrade to the PS5 Digital Edition. An FAQ posted by the studio revealed that PS4 Pro and Xbox One X owners will be able to run the game at 4K 30 FPS, while the Xbox Series S runs at 1440p 60 FPS. Finally, Long Fallen Dynasty clocks in at 1080p 30 FPS on the base PS4 and Xbox One, and the game does support smart delivery and play anywhere on Xbox formats. So yeah, this is a game that's coming out on March 3rd, so it's getting very close to release, and I figured I just would let you guys know what to expect on the different consoles if you're planning on picking it up. Moving on from that, we have two topics here talking about Death Stranding 2. The first one comes from PlayStation Universe, and they say Hideo Kojima has revealed during his latest Brain Structure podcast that Death Stranding 2 would have to effectively be rewritten if actress Elle Fanning had turned down a role in the game. The Metal Gear Solid creator revealed that Fanning's character plays a major role in the upcoming PS5 sequel, saying he wanted to use Elle's talents and charm to create a character unlike any other. Quote, I really can't share much, but she's a very important character, and yes, I created the character with Elle in mind, so I was worried about her saying no to the offer, end quote. But continuing to talk about Death Stranding 2, again from PlayStation Universe, Elle Fanning has described Kojima Productions' upcoming Death Stranding 2 as already looking outstanding, but will continue to get so much better as the developer continues to push motion capture technology. The actress was speaking on Hideo Kojima's latest Brain Structure podcast, where she said that Death Stranding 2 is a work in progress, and that Kojima-san always says, this isn't done, this is not what it's going to look like at all. But then I look at it and I'm like, it looks pretty amazing. But in his mind, it's, oh my god, it's going to be so much better, don't even look at this. Fanning added that Death Stranding 2 already looks so outstanding, it looks so real, but I know it's going to get much better. Kojima himself also added his own comments to the matter, saying, I can't reveal too much right now, but we've been using a new technology this time around, so I think the scanning process was a bit difficult, but Elle had fun with it. So yeah, this to me is a little bit of a tease maybe of what to expect with Death Stranding 2. I feel like, what we saw in the trailer already looked really good. I mean, seeing this, next gen version of the Decima engine, PS5 only, very exciting. We know that Kojima loves to push the boundaries of technology in gaming and photorealism. And so to hear that, they're working with new technology, something that's going to maybe push the limits, right? And set some kind of new standard here is exciting. So I can't wait to see more of Death Stranding 2. But moving to the next topic, we are once again talking about the ongoing Microsoft Activision Blizzard acquisition. I have an article here from PlayStation Universe. It says Activision Blizzard CEO says Sony is trying to sabotage Microsoft's purchase of the Call of Duty company. They say Bobby Kotick has been making the rounds, as it were, with interviews all meant to hopefully work towards swaying regulators to approve Microsoft's purchase of Activision Blizzard. That included the statement he made in one such recent interview where Kotick claimed Sony has stopped returning our calls. In another interview now with the Financial Times, Kotick took that further and called it Sony's way of trying to sabotage the transaction. Suddenly, Sony's entire leadership team stopped talking to anyone at Microsoft. I think this is all Sony just trying to sabotage the transaction. The whole idea that we are not going to support PlayStation or that Microsoft would not support the PlayStation, it is absurd. This is what Bobby Kotick had to say. When the Financial Times asked Sony about this, it responded saying it is in contact with Microsoft, but had nothing further to add regarding our private negotiations. So yeah, as you can see, guys, as it goes on, you're starting to really see, these companies start to go at one another. And, my thoughts on this are pretty simple. Frankly, I don't think this is surprising. I think that anybody who's been following this even a little bit kind of gets the feeling that, yeah, Sony does not want this to go through. And that's something that you guys were saying in my comment section yesterday, is making it clear that this isn't about just keeping Call of Duty on the PlayStation platform. I think at this point, Sony is pretty sure that Call of Duty isn't going anywhere. At this point, it's just trying to do everything they can to get it to be blocked, to just not happen at all. Now, as to whether or not Sony's going to have any success in influencing that, it remains to be seen. But we have, Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick, this guy, I'm going to be honest, I don't think anybody wants to hear from him. I don't think anybody really cares what he has to say. And even though he's out here basically trying to, take some shots at Sony, making it seem like Sony's the bad guy, I still feel like this is the last person, literally the last person that should be saying anything about anything, because no one's going to care. Nobody likes this guy. And he's just that unlikable, right? To where this may be true, but somehow I still feel like this works in Sony's favor. So I don't know. I just had to cover this, let you guys know that this is what Activision's CEO is currently saying. But we are moving on to the next topic, and boy, is this a very, very exciting topic. I was really contemplating whether or not I wanted to make a separate video on this. Maybe I will, maybe I'll make it short, I don't know, but I want to talk about this. We have a credible, reliable industry insider letting us know Sony's plans when it comes to upcoming state of plays, and more importantly, something that you guys have been asking for a long time now, a proper PlayStation showcase. This is being reported by WCCF Tech, and they say the last few weeks have been surprisingly busy in terms of video game news, with Microsoft delivering their first Xbox and Bethesda Developer Direct in late January, which was then followed by a big Nintendo Direct this past Wednesday. So what about Sony? They don't want to let Microsoft and Nintendo grab all the early 2023 headlines, right? Well, according to industry insider and leaker Jeff Grubb on the latest episode of the Game Mess Decides podcast, Sony does indeed have some irons in the fire. Grubb says we can expect a new PlayStation State of Play sometime soon, likely within the next month, although that will be a fairly low-key endeavor. Thankfully, there's apparently a reason for that, as Sony is said to be holding stuff back as they have plans for a full-on E3 season PlayStation showcase this year. Here's the direct quote from Jeff Grubb. There's going to be a PlayStation State of Play pretty soon. There's going to be even more games announced now. Don't get your hopes up too high, because apparently it's going to be a pretty low-key State of Play. But soon, let's say in a month or so, or maybe a little sooner. Again, a little bit more low-key because apparently they're saving stuff for an actual PlayStation showcase that will likely come before E3 time. So there you go. It seems like Sony is going to be reloading and relaunching their marketing campaigns very quickly. It will be like a 1-2 punch. Now, this is very exciting if it's true. Obviously, we have to take stuff like this with a grain of salt. You know, we've been burned before, but I have quite a bit of confidence in this, if I'm being honest, because Jeff Grubb is a proven, reliable industry insider. Now, granted, he doesn't talk about PlayStation all too often. He has a lot more information usually regarding Xbox, but he has been correct in the past when it comes to some of the stuff he's talked about with PlayStation. So I'm leaning towards, yeah, I believe this, not just because of, you know, the fact it's coming from somebody who's reliable, but also because of the way he words it at the end here, the way he puts it. Sony is going to be reloading and relaunching their marketing campaigns very quickly, basically to make like a 1-2 punch. Look at what Sony's doing right now. We're seeing the PS5 marketing ramp up in a way that we simply haven't seen in the past 2 years, and it's because the shortage is now over. You can walk into any retail chain and walk out with a PS5. You can go on any website and order a PS5. Sony now has no problems producing as many of these things as they can sell. And, you know, this is where we're now going to see something happen that I've been talking about for some time now, which is I've been saying over and over again for the past 2 years that Sony is holding back quite significantly. The reason for this is because of the shortage. They cannot go, you know, full throttle, get the hype to level 100 for this product if they can't sell it to people, if it's not on store shelves, and if people can't get their hands on it. Now that we're in a situation where it's quite the opposite, anybody who wants one will be able to get one. You're going to see Sony approach marketing this console very, very differently. Another reason I'm very much inclined to believe this is because, come on now, guys, this is the longest Sony has ever went without a proper showcase. They're gonna have to do something soon, and I think we can all agree that a smaller state of play by itself will not cut it. So one last thing I want to mention here is that he's saying that this showcase is going to happen before E3. So it seems like it's a possibility that this showcase could happen in March, April, or May. Now, considering, you know, they do have apparently a smaller state of play they want to do before this, I think that'll happen in March, and I think a proper full-blown showcase is more likely to happen, say, around sometime in May. And I will also add to this that if this is what Sony's planning on doing, man, I will have some very high expectations for this showcase when it happens, because it's been too long, right? It's been too long. We've been covering all the different projects that are apparently in the works behind the scenes. Something tells me that if this showcase is happening before June of this year, it's going to be absolutely colossal, and I cannot wait. So there you go. Definitely excited to talk about this topic with you guys. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I'll be interested to see what you had to say. Subscribe if you're new, hit the bell notification icon, and feel free to share the video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.